Hello everyone, Kent.Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, podcast endorsed and sponsored by kidneysolutions.org. Good morning, everyone. And I can say good morning to you because that's what it is here. You may be listening to this in the evening or whatever, and you understand all of that. I got a chance to get my vaccination yesterday for COVID. So I want to tell everybody out there that that shot was a no-brainer, didn't hurt at all. And I've had only minor problems with my arm being a little bit painful, and that's it. A couple Tylenol and I'm good to go. I couldn't go any more than about 30 seconds with Muhammad Ali, but at least I can get my arms up. So it's go get that thing. All right, let's pray. Dearest Lord Jesus, help us to realize that our hopes and dreams are based in a true faith in you. Bring us peace and help us to walk your path with humility and kindness. We pray in your holy name. Amen. This morning, I have as my guests Oliver and Jason Hale. Both of them are transplant patients, but this is going to be concentrating this morning on Oliver because his transplant anniversary is coming up shortly. And we're going to just kind of glide through, and Jason will probably jump in there. And later on, I'm going to have Jason on because he's got a tremendous story also. So we want to give each one of them a chance to be heard. So good morning, fellas.
Good morning. Good morning, Kent.
So Oliver, tell me, I've watched you on the Urban Network, and I know that you're a chef, and give me a little background on your transplant history, if you would.
I am Kent. I am a two-time kidney transplant. My first anniversary is coming up, like say January 29th, 1985, when I received my first transplant. It went 23 years and rejected on December 7th. I went on dialysis, was on dialysis a little bit over 4 years, and received my second transplant on, believe it or not, on Friday the 13th.
Oh, no.
That was shocking to me. Yes. And I just celebrated my 9th anniversary with that kidney and doing well. And when I got my first transplant, I kind of hit the ground running, and I still haven't stopped.
Yeah, I can.
I am very blessed.
I've watched your track record. I've seen your resume, your repertoire, and it's amazing. How old are you?
Oh boy! Well, see, that's the other thing. On February 7th, I have another birthday coming up. I'll be turning 58.
Okay, sounds great.
No, not 58. 68.
68.
Boy, getting ahead of myself. 68. Yes.
Well, I'm 3 years older than you. So we're in the same bus, right? We're in the same track.
Yes, we're in the same thing. But it just, when I got my transplant, I didn't want to sit around and just do nothing. And things started happening for me after the transplant and getting out there in the world. And, one thing my mother always taught us when we were growing up, when you're out in the public eye, do your best because you never know who's watching. And so my career as a chef took off. People started watching me. I started doing television spots here and there. Then I had opportunity to get a television show for 11 years.
Wow.
And, that show brought me nine video awards producer of the year, and just um, a lot of recognition across the United States for things.
So if you
And
hadn't
of
had
course,
it,
with,
hadn't had a transplant, you wouldn't be where you are right now, right? Even two. That
you
first one
know
was a
what?
lifesaver.
Oh no, was a lifesaver. Yes, I am very, like I say, very blessed to be able to get that one because it did well. It lasted a long time. But one thing the doc had told me when I was in the hospital, my last days in the hospital, he said, "Remember that this is a foreign object you have in your body, and it will reject sometime." And so, with that in mind, I just put it back there, but I didn't just sit and dwell on it
Dwell
every
on
day.
it,
I just
yeah.
took it and went. And yes,
Okay, hey Jason.
and so with that, I'm just
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Jason. You've also had a transplant. Like I said, we're going to talk about you a little bit later, but I wanted to get you in here. Yeah, you've had just one transplant?
I'm a two-time transplant recipient also.
Okay. All right. All right. So your dad was transplanted first, right? Before you. So you kind of got some experience on
Yes.
what he had done? Okay, good. All right. Well,
Yes.
stay with it. Stay with us, and we'll drive you in here somewhere along the line. How's that sound?
yeah.
Yeah, we're good. You know, I know they say to follow in your father's footsteps, but this is a little close.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what.
It's too close. It's too close. Well, you know, we had different illness that caused our blood pressure. My blood pressure caused by I'm not blood pressure. My kidney failure caused by the blood pressure, high
Right.
blood pressure. And Jason was done by you can find it.
Mine was blood pressure also, but it just caused a different type of kidney disease in which the filters just stopped processing any type of poisons out of my blood.
Were you both biopsied?
Not me.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
I.
You know, his was very quick and sudden. Mine was a little bit shorter over an 11-year period in which I was diagnosed, but it took, 11 years for me to finally go on dialysis. So I was biopsied several times.
So it sounded like you had one of those illnesses, such as IgA or some type of nephropathy, FSGS, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Diagnosis of these diseases are back to you, Oliver. A lot of these things don't get diagnosed without biopsy, but it's not necessary to have a biopsy, but because once you've got kidney disease, it's pretty rapid. I mean, it can really take its toll.
Well, mine was just a freak incident. I was out with my with Jason's younger brother and sister and got sick and wound up going to the hospital. And they said, "I'm glad that I came because my kidneys had failed and they had shut down and I was developing poisoning in my body."
Oh, yes.
And I went to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and that's when they found out I had kidney disease. And so it was just one freak incident that I went. Now I was only on dialysis a year and a half the first time. The second time I was on it for 4 years.
Okay, the first time, now that was, you got a deceased kidney? Your first transplant was from both times. Okay, yeah, so only being on for a year and a half, you were very fortunate to get a kidney that quickly, because most people are on a waiting list for 6-7 years maybe or more.
But that was back in 1985, 84, 85. And so that they think that's the reason why. Because back then, when I was living in Toledo, Ohio, and they only had 5 dialysis centers at that time. Now they have 12.
Yeah.
They have 12 dialysis centers.
I was transplanted in 87. So back there wasn't much. Yeah, there was not very much back then. I mean, you got on dialysis, or there wasn't any of this idea of being on for a real long time. but as people have
Mhm.
aged and everything, it's gotten longer. The waiting list has gotten longer. Did you find that first one?
Oh,
Yeah. Did you find that first one
Go ahead.
really difficult, or did you cruise through it? You were roughly what in
I-
your 40s or 30s?
I cruised through it. I cruised through it. I went through it with no problems, and the end didn't have any problem with my creatinine going down, and just the weight gain. Cause back then, I was on I was on that cyclosporin when it first came out, and that was one of them drugs that made you gain weight. And so I gained almost 70 pounds
Oh,
on the first time around.
yeah. I've been on cyclosporin for 33 years.
You still on it?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And it's
Wow.
been a real good drug for me. And I could just shows you that
Okay.
the difference between the types of medications that are provided for a transplant. Now they give you, 3 drugs and several different kinds of drugs, but I have been on Santamune and prednisone for the 33 years.
Mhm.
And you're on prednisone
Mhm.
also?
Yes, I'm on prednisone along with 8 other medications.
Yeah.
Altogether, I take. So I've talked to other people who complain about which they not take so many medicine, but hey, if it's going to keep me alive, I'm going to take it. And
Well, absolutely, you got it. Whatever, I hear people talk about it does this to you, it does that to you, and that, I know what it would do to you if you weren't taking it. You wouldn't keep the kidney number one.
I have been to a couple of funerals, a couple of guys who didn't take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I know what happened if you don't.
Yep.
If you don't take it. So
What was the hardest thing about seeing that first kidney go and start to fail? What were your symptoms and stuff?
it was in my 23rd year, and I wanted to have a big 25th anniversary. So I took it more harder than anything because I wanted to. Because I bypassed the 20th anniversary having a party. I said I'm going to wait till my 25th, and right after the 23rd, coming up on later on the 23rd, it started having. No, I'm not going to do my 25th. So I'm not that terribly upset. That was the hardest thing. I mean, except the fact that I had to go back on dialysis was the next thing. But
Yeah,
it is what it is.
You just got to move on. Just got to move on with it, right?
Yeah. You got to have a positive attitude. You got to have a very positive attitude, because if you don't have a positive attitude, you can't go through this. I mean, I commend Jason on what he had been doing for 20 years.
I know.
I can tell you, I don't think I could ever do that.
I know I couldn't have. I know I couldn't have. There's no
You'd
way.
be surprised. You'd be surprised what you can do when things are presented to you.
Yeah, well, mentally would be my problem. I wouldn't have any trouble doing the mechanics. It's the mentality. I could not, I'll be honest with you. When I was transplanted preemptively, I said I'm not going to do dialysis. And I fortunately had a nephrologist who said, you wouldn't do well on it anyway. Let's get you transplanted. And I had 2 brothers. So I was good to go. So it's a different story.
My hardest thing was being in dialysis, and they call this code, whatever it was, and you look down the way here, they running in and putting a little tent up around the chair. You know what's happening, and EMS come in, and the next time you go in, they find, he passed.
Yeah.
And
those
are scary moments for me, because that could be me.
Yeah, and so that's made you want to, once you've had the transplant, it makes you want to be real tough and take care of it, right? And
yeah. But then also you want to do things, because you get stuck. Like I say, it was only 4 years that I got stuck with Jason. You still travel and did a lot of things while you was on dialysis, right? Yeah.
Fortunately for me, mine was through the 90s and 2000s. So, transient centers were set up and you could come in, and insurance understood that people still had to travel and get around. So, in the earlier days, that was kind of hard and so forth. And, I even looked into going on a cruise, because they have that dialysis at sea.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. The whole
So
process. Yeah. Go ahead, Oliver. Go ahead.
no, I'm
I
gonna say that it's just amazing what you go through, your mental aspect when you're sitting there and looking around that room for them hours. It's not easy to sit there and do that.
one of the things that happens, I think, and you'll agree with this, is that your body adjusts no matter what. In kidney disease, it just has a tendency to adjust with time. You know, your blood, you lose blood, you become anemic, and you become short. But all these things moderate. Your body is really a great system because it kind of adjusts everything. So you
Yes.
don't really feel or look in some cases like you got kidney disease. No one knows
Yeah.
what.
Oh yeah, it's
No one.
it's a must.
Yeah.
It is a must.
Yeah. So once you're on dialysis, I agree with Jason. You probably would adjust to it. I just don't think I would. Anyway, regardless, being transplanted gives you that chance to do what you want to do without
Freedom.
reservation. That's right. And even though you can adjust after dialysis, with being on dialysis and do lots of things now, but with home dialysis, those things didn't even exist for us.
No. I remember when the what's the one that you do at home with the little machine?
Yeah, that's PD.
What?
Peritoneal.
No, not peritoneal. It's that. Oh God, it's a little machine. You do it twice. You do it for 2 hours every day except one. Oh, I forgot what it is, but it's a machine you'd go on dialysis and they run you for 2 hours.
Would it be a home dialysis unit?
Yeah.
That's like, I understand. Yeah. There's no reason after a transplant that you can't keep good care of the kidney. I mean, that's you have to do that. So what have you done to shelter your kidney, to make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing?
Me, of course, a lot of fluid. I flush it out. I give it a good flush. I see Jason got his. We do a lot of flushing, and I try to watch what I eat. I try to stay away from the higher potassium stuff, which I still do like. And I don't pull away from a lot of beef. I don't pull away from a lot of beef products. I'm eating more pork, chicken, and fish than anything. But here I go and talk about healthy eating, and I got to start eating right myself. In fact, I'm doing a show soon.
I'm doing one this evening. Yeah, this evening, right?
Yeah. Oh, no salt, nothing with salt in. People always say, what can I do to give it a good flavor? I said, on my seafood, I use a little lemon pepper and dill. And then almost everything, I use Mrs. Dash. Mrs. Dash got the flavor that can, enhance anything.
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no salt. There's no salt. Yeah.
People said, I can't go without salt. Yes, you can. You have to start cutting back. Because I have talked to people in their 90s who have got luckily they got transplanted, and they want to know how they can change it. Trying to get a 90-year-old person to change their eating habits is not going to be easy. It's
like changing us. I have a hard time. I've been a fan of moderation. I've tried to, moderate. I don't eat a lot of everything. I eat a little of everything. That's a portion control thing. But definitely salt is what I stay away from. I can't say I don't use salt, but I do a minimum.
Back before COVID, I used to travel for different dialysis center and different pharmaceuticals, Shire, GlaxoSmithKline, Abbott, Roche, and someone else used to pay for me to travel to do cooking demos in dialysis unit. And
really?
I've been from Boston out to California, down to Orlando, Austin. And my dream is to get an RV and just travel and then travel to dialysis center, start booking them. Cause we put out a survey years ago, about 2 years ago, asking people if we would do a show on the road cooking demonstration, how many of you would like for us to come to your country? We had almost 42 countries, 42 countries, not talking about how many dialysis centers in those countries.
Oh, no.
So we know it'd be a big hit. You know, we'll go and do 2 days in one unit and move her over to another unit, and or maybe do one big, but still a lot of people don't understand the meaning of eating healthy. And you can make food smell great if you know what the type of seasoning and what you can add to it.
Yeah. Is eating is half of it smelling, right? What you smell.
Oh, if you can smell it, it's gonna taste good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and then even looking at it, I mean, when you look at it, you can say, "Wow, that looks good." And
Yeah.
I'm big into presentation when I do my dinners and do my food. I am big into that. So with that in
I don't know
mind,
if you can get Brussels sprouts to smell good.
I don't know how you do that, and broccoli and broccoli too. Any of the greens, and this doesn't happen for me.
I had somebody who said they didn't like Brussels sprout, and I did some steamed Brussels sprout, tossed them in pine nuts and heavy cream with a little nutmeg in it, and coated it with them. And they said that was delicious because it takes away that bitter flavor of the
Yeah.
Brussels sprout. But it's just certain ways you can do things, and that's what I have did most of my life by creating and putting together dishes, and I still do it. And when people ask me, like tonight, I mean, my next presentation I'm doing a whitefish. I'm gonna tell them they can use any whitefish, but I'm doing a whitefish with this nice rice mixture with green peppers, onions, and celery inside of it, with little vegetable stock and some dill and ingredients. I'm using brown rice too. I'm gonna mix it up to put under the fish, and I'm doing some broccolinis. I love doing broccolinis.
Okay.
I'm gonna be doing that.
I tell you what, it's a blessing because I couldn't cook. I stay out of the kitchen. But I can tell, oh yeah, my wife makes me. She's a very good cook, but I stay out of the kitchen. And that,
well,
you after 30 years, you have to learn how to cook. She's done very well for me. Done very well.
Oh, yes, you have to, because there's if you want to stick around a little bit longer, you have to start changing up your eating habits. And my weakness is sweets. And during the COVID, with me not exercising, I mean, I hate that our gyms are still shut down here in Michigan, and everything's supposed to be opening up on February 1st. The restaurant, they're gonna open up the restaurant, gyms, and the whole caboodle, kit and caboodle. So it's gonna be a lot of people happy, because up till they start shutting down the gym, I played pickleball and tennis indoors and outdoors. And now with the winter weather we got with the snow and cold, and so I'm not doing any exercise. So you can't go to the gym and exercise, because you got all these muscle bound guys who goes on the machine and work out and leave the sweat on the machine.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, that's another aspect of transplant maintenance is exercise.
Exercise, yeah.
So you've got diet and exercise, so and their medication. So you've covered. Yeah. You've covered them. That's really, and the exercise really. Go ahead.
I was going to ask him if he was still on cyclosporin, because I noticed a little weight gain there.
Hey, yeah, I'm not on cyclosporin. That's COVID weight.
Yeah, that's sit around weight.
Sitting around the house doing nothing.
You talk about cyclosporin.
Now, but Jason, now, let me get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jason, you wind up. You have, let me get it right, 3 black belts, right?
I have 3 degrees and 1 black belt.
3 degrees and 1 black belt. But you did how many while you was on dialysis?
Yeah, I studied for, years. I went through all the belts of white, yellow, orange, purple, blue, green, 3 degrees of brown, and to 3 degrees of black.
But you're
While
on
on
dialysis
dialysis.
also when you're doing that, right?
Yeah, all while on dialysis. And, you know, there was bumps in the road during that time, but you recover and you get back up and you continue on, you know?
See, that would impress me that you could do that kind of physical aspect and still be on dialysis.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we just have to rally for them to enter martial arts into the transplant games, you know?
Well, I'm surprised they don't
have.
I'm
hoping that you can make sure.
You're both
well,
on.
you know, Europe, the European group, they do a dialysis transplant. And so I'm looking forward to my next transplant game. I've been doing mine, Kent, ever since 1987. I've been going to all the transplant games. I've been to 9 countries so far competing. Wow. And I thought it'd be great to see a father and son group there this year, next time. But I don't know if they're going to take off this year. It's going to be in New Jersey in July, and it's still not.
It's up in the air. Yeah, George said it's still up in the air. I talked to him. You're both members of the Quarter Century Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
George and I. Yeah.
Yep. There's
well, I think.
Go ahead.
I took Jason down to Houston when we was in the Houston games. And I invited him to come down and watch it. You were down for the opening ceremony, and what else, Jason?
Yeah, that's it. I was there for the opening ceremonies, and you actually competed, I think, a couple days later. So I ended up missing that. I had to come back to go to work, but yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, but he saw the opening ceremony, and opening ceremony is a huge event for us to do that. And we were looking forward because this year has been the first year that they haven't the World Games in the United States, but that all got shot.
That was going to be in Houston.
We're going to have the national game this year in New Jersey. Yeah, we're going to be in Houston. Oh, yeah. I was looking forward to that. But, you know, they had to change things up.
Well,
but, you know, I still promote, we just had a big issue. I'm one half of the field ambassador for the AAKP, but also I'm a field ambassador for UNOS, for the United Network for Organ Sharing. And we just had a big bill go through that bill with the cyclosporin. I talked to my senators, and we have one very active senator, Gary Peters. Yes. He's been on television a lot doing interviews. So I got a chance to meet him because I knew his liaison. And plus, believe it or not, I'm very close to Justin Amash. He lives here, and I know him very well. And Justin, all I do is call Justin up and talk to him about political question, and he would talk to him. But I am glad that we worked hard on that bill to get it passed through, to get the cyclosporin, the anti-rejection drugs paid for. Because there's a lot of people I know on dialysis would not have a transplant because they don't want to pay for the burden of paying for all that medicine.
Yep, that immunosuppressive bill, we chased that bill for almost 20 years, 17 years. I advocated for that. And it, you know, there's a lot of politics in it, but it finally passed, and that's what we needed. It comes in, I think it starts into effect in 22.
Well,
they have to develop the mechanism, how they're going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it starts in 22, but that's a monumental piece of legislation. I mean, it sets the standard for kidney care.
Yes, it is. It took them long enough.
Yeah.
Jason, what you want to say?
I was going to say that I saw a statistic that said that. Oh, I think Kent's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah, I think he's frozen over there. See.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say that I saw a stat that said that 25% of all Medicare's budget goes to end-stage renal disease.
Yeah, well, it's 600 billion a year. So, yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's
billions,
a
billions
huge,
of dollars,
huge,
yes.
huge amount of money that will be saved. I think the CBO on that was like $100 million saved over 10 years. Though that might be a little bit off, but it's close.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
so
it
you
was.
so in
$100.
in
Well, that's why
your
I'm glad
life,
I'm very active in those fields and stuff. But yeah, yeah.
well, in light of all
But
of this, that's what
it,
you do when you're a kidney transplant patient, right, Oliver? You have to advocate. You have to
yeah,
stand up because no one else
yeah,
does
you
it
have
for
to
you.
because I call it helping those who can't help themselves. And with myself, along with my cohorts here in Michigan, we do a lot. We get together and meet with our senators and representatives from the state of Michigan that's in Washington. I'm waiting till they get settled there now before I introduce myself to them. I mean, I already know Gary Peters and I know Debbie Stevenhausen for our people here. And I still keep in touch with Justin Amash. Well, we also have Greg Myers.
Yes,
Greg Myers is also another representative. I knew him when he was a kid.
yeah. So this whole process is
So,
what kidney patients do. They have to do that. They have to make sure that they stay relevant and they understand what's going on in the kidney world, in the kidney space, because nobody else is going to do it. We've got to do it. We've got to stand up for ourselves and make sure that it's evident to everyone that kidney disease is important. We need to help people that are coming behind us.
mm-hmm.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
let me
A lot of people don't know about getting.
new.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you about cyclosporin before we get away. How long were you on it? How long were you
when
on
I
cyclosporin?
first was on it, it was in the bottle.
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
I was on it for almost 20 years. I was on it for 20 years.
Yeah. You remember when they pulled it out of the bottle?
Yeah.
Put it in orange juice or in
what I
chocolate
did.
milk? Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And then I was glad when the pills came along.
Yeah, really.
When the pills came along, because that was a big savior. But now I'm on a Prograf and CellSet.
Yeah, those two probably for your second transplant. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Cyclosporin's been good for me. I did look into.
Don't change it.
Oh no, I'm not changing anything. I do know that as you age, your kidney function gets less and less, and when you've been transplanted, it gets less. So, if my creatinine level's around 1.2, I think I'll take that at 71 years old. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What is yours, Jason?
1.4.
Yeah.
1.4.
You take that too.
Yeah.
Take
Mine's
that
1.7.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is a medication. Now, just enlighten you here. Just you can remember this. It's called belatacept. It's a new drug. It's not new, but it's relatively new in the kidney world, and it's given IV only and once a month, and it's not nephrotoxic. It doesn't beat up the kidney like cyclosporin, and it's called belatacept. BELATCEPT. I'll text it to you, but you can use that.
Okay.
Use that if you start gravitating towards, it's starting to get worse and worse, and they can put you on that and take you off the others, and hopefully that would help you, maintain.
Well,
but we're not going to look at that.
Okay, I'm happy what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm always looking ahead because I'm wondering what I can do to maintain. After 33 years, you want to keep going, and you guys are the same way. You want to, so.
Oh I want to.
I think there's a lot of things that have gone on now in the kidney research world. There's a lot of things like genetic testing and all of that, and so I think we're making progress where we hadn't done that for 50 years, really. And then all of a sudden now we have an array of things. be getting those
We have
research
a
done.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I was on the patient advisory board for UNOS for 3 years out of Richmond, Virginia. And I sat on the board that we were going through writing the build up for the extremities transplant, where they're taking whole arms from here down
Yeah.
and transplanted to on people, where and that was scary to watch when they were taking just an arm itself and connect it to a person and see them move their fingers and everything. And now they doing the legs, where they putting legs on people, and so they're using a lot of military people to
Yes.
experiment with that, and they sign up to do it. But I'm glad that technology is moving forward like that. So
I think that's the most exciting, don't you? That
So
this
that's
all this
very
stuff
good.
is starting
I'm very
to.
happy.
Yeah, I can't imagine not being able to advance, because we didn't for so many years. No money was really shot over towards kidney disease, and it's better now. And it's things like that AAKP, right? I think we probably ought to talk about them. What your relationship with AAKP. Mine's been very strong. I believe.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. I believe it's effective.
I have had a great opportunity to meet them. I've been to a couple of meetings, and I met them in New York because with me doing all them cooking demos, I was doing cooking demos and I was dissecting recipes, and they got a hold of one of my recipes that I dissected. It had 880 milligrams of sodium in it, and when I got done dissecting it, it wound up having just about 400 milligrams of sodium. And they couldn't believe I did that. And they wanted to know how I did it. And they said it couldn't be done. Well, I went to New York to prove that to them. So that's when I first met them. And so they've been having me come down and do cooking demos for their national meetings.
Yeah, this
talk about
you're
Dr. Smith.
There's a lot of things that they're doing with AAKP.
Yeah. I'm very happy for that. Dr. Barry Smith is one of my leaders on this. I love talking to him, and he's very smart.
This AAKP, it's all about patients. That's the deal. It's all about kidney patients. I call it a protective arm. It's the protective arm of the kidney patients, because they're always in the fight.
Yeah. I'm not bad mouthing the Kidney Foundation, but I was on their board 3 times, and it just what the AAKP is doing is what I wish the Kidney Foundation had started doing. And I've been down to a couple events in the Kidney Foundation of Florida. Played in a couple of tennis tournaments with them. I went up and played in a pro-am tournament with the late Bobby Riggs. The late, not late, but Andre Agassi, a great Otto Graham, the football player.
Yeah.
Bernie Chappelle from Love Boat, the Dick Van Patten and his boys. Back then, this guy was named Bruce Jenner, who I played with. Got a chance to play tennis with.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I have got, but this is what I wish the Kidney Foundation had kept up on what the AAKP is doing. They are the leaders in doing things right now. So
I just think that I'm on the board, but just the things that they're coming up with and the protections, they stand up for the patients. It's not about anything but the patient. Whatever is good for the patient, they want them to have the last voice, the final voice, and that's what's good about AAKP. And you can be a member there, right? You can be a member there for free. You don't have to charge it. They don't charge you a nickel.
Yeah.
Come on, just sign up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place, Jason, if you want to join a organization that keeps things going and they keep in touch with you with stuff. So you should try to check them out and see what's up with them.
Yeah, Kent sent me a link, so I have everything to sign up.
He's going to get in. Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
great.
And like I said, you can do it's free. Yeah. Say, okay. Oliver,
Good.
this you think back now, you just think back over all the time that you've had a transplant, okay? What has been the hardest adjustment for you to make your transplant, get some longevity out of your transplant?
I hate to tell you, my whole attitude. I mean, I had a positive attitude. So my adjustment is, if I want to be alive, if I want to stay alive, and I want to be around to see Jason and my other two kids grow up, and the things I want to do. I mean, I'm waiting, seeing the grandkids and
Sure.
follow. You have to follow the rules. I mean, I got them right here. I'm getting ready to take those, my medicine that I take every day around 12 o'clock. Because I stay up late at night, so I do it 12 and 12. So I take my medicine around 12 and 12 at night. I know they suggest 8 o'clock and 8 o'clock. I can't get up that early in the morning to take it. So I moved it, and it's going well. But also, you have to follow the rules and do what you have to do. You have to do.
Your direction comes from your physician.
So I'm very happy.
Yeah, your direction comes from your physician.
There you go. Yeah.
And you take your medications.
Yeah.
And you make sure you exercise.
Oh, God. You
make sure that your diet is not suspect. It's respective. It's what you have to do is watch your diet. Right? You know that. You're doing that. Right.
Yeah, because I played tennis. My doubles partner was a guy who didn't take his medicine. He said he knew his body better than the doctors. And I don't know where he's at right now. I kind of backed away from him because he was a bad, yeah. I mean, he just didn't think you need to take all that medicine.
Well, you know what? They develop medicines to take care of you. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, a lot of people start feeling better and they say, I feel normal again. And they're like, I don't need to take that medicine. I had a transplant. I feel normal. And they start backing away with it. They go hand in hand. It's the medicine that's making you feel well and keeping you from rejecting.
Exactly.
And then that's what ends up happening. They lose it. And it's a shame because, that was a kidney that could have gone to somebody else that was more compliant than you. And, these are the people that self-diagnose themselves through WebMD, and WebMD told me I don't need to take Prograf, I'm
yeah.
Like, don't do that. Let's go with listen to your physician. They know.
That's exactly right. If you're not gonna listen, don't go. I mean, I think we kind of placate sometimes when we ought to be saying the real truth. You need to drive home the fact that if you're not going to do what you're going to do, then don't take the kidney. You've got to do exactly as you're instructed, period.
Yes. And that's why, I have people who ask me, new people that 1 to 5 years been on transplant. How did I last so long? George is my idol, listen to George Franklin. He's 42 years now out?
45.
Just seeing 45 years.
Yeah.
And to be that far out. He's from the old school. So I hope I can meet 45 years one day.
Well, your combination, you're going to do that. You're going to do that. I really believe that because you're taking care of yourself.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I am going to. And like I say, soon as I get this shot in me and get back in the gym, I'm going to lose about 15 pounds. And then, like I say, I'm going to make a road trip where I'm going to go down and see Jason, my mom, and the rest of my family, and just enjoy a couple of weeks with them and go from that point. So
where are you in receiving your vaccination? I know, Kent, you said you got yours.
Believe it or not, while we was talking, I just got a text message telling me that I signed up in 3 places, and they just telling me, I just got it. This is your reminder that you are registered for COVID vaccine, on the list for vaccine. While we do not have an appointment available, we will send you the information as scheduling as soon as we did. Because Michigan got shorted a lot of their vaccine allotment because, Michigan, the governor of Michigan and Trump had a big falling out and they got shorted a lot. And
Well,
so we are suffering for it because we all sitting around with, huh?
We're having the
So,
same shortage in Texas. We're not. Our county hasn't had any
Yeah,
in
well-
itself for 2 weeks. We don't have any. So I think it's across the board.
Yeah.
The most important thing here is that you're going to take it. The takeaway, Jason, are you going to take it?
Oh, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are in the 1B group. I'm actually in 1C.
Yeah.
So the 1B group here where I live, the waiting list is at 20,000 right now, and
Yeah.
people are signing up daily. They issued just up not far from me, they did 1,000 vaccinations yesterday, and those people had signed
Wow.
up on New Year's Day, and their
Yeah.
appointment was January 21st. So it's about 3 weeks out here waiting, especially with 20K. And it really is, they're able to do more vaccinations, but they just don't have the vaccine, it's just
Yeah.
running.
That's
So
it.
they're
That's
supposed to be
it.
able to do about 2,000 to 2,500. So, hopefully Johnson & Johnson comes and we get some more and get it pumping. But I've seen some stories where some people from Argentina have been flying up here to Florida and getting vaccinated and flying back home because it's not even available where they live. So they're doing these, they're called vaccine tourists now, where
Yeah.
people are coming from other countries and they're offering packages for 30,000, fly over, see Disney World, get a vaccine and go back home,
Yeah.
So-
Wow.
And we
Didn't
got
know
nursing
that,
homes.
so.
We got nursing homes that haven't even been touched yet. So go figure. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what.
Okay.
I'd love to spend. I know you've got stuff to do today and tonight. I'm going to have you back. Let's just put it that way, and we'll do some things. And I'm definitely going to have Jason on. But I appreciate that you came on. And do you have anything else you would like to tell my listeners?
Organ donation does work. I tell you, stay positive. And if you're on dialysis, your day will come if you do all the right things. But try to live your life to the fullest. It's kind of hard to say live your life to the fullest when you're sitting on that machine. But I know what it's like. I've been there, and I tried to do everything as possible I could to keep my motivation up because I knew one day I want to get it. And so just hang in there, and life is going to work for you.
Exactly. Thanks for coming on. I'm going to kind of close it off now. If you could just stay for just a second, I'm going to close out. And I really appreciate both of you being here.
Jason, well, it's nice seeing you, Jason. I'm glad you're doing okay. Getting kind of that gray stuff on your chin there.
Okay,
Yes.
hey, bear
Salt
with
and pepper around,
There you go. Bear with me. Hang on just a minute. Okay, folks, listen. Thanks for listening in today. I just want to put in a shameless plug for the Independent Voice of Kidney Patients, AAKP, which is the oldest and largest independent kidney patient organization in the U.S. It's dedicated to improving the lives and long-term outcomes of kidney patients through education, advocacy, engagement, and fostering of patient communities. AAKP fights for early disease detection and the appropriate diagnosis of rare and genetic conditions. It increases kidney transplantation and preventive transplants and allows for a full patient choice of either in-center or home dialysis, protection of the patient-physician relationship, promotion of research and innovation, including artificial, implantable, and wearable kidneys, and the elimination of barriers for patient access to available treatment options. At AAKP, you can join this organization. It's free of charge, and I wish you would do that. Just go on aakp.org and sign up. And until I can talk to you again, keep breathing.